Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I'm just sharing my screen. Give me a second. Guys, I'm not feeling well today. If you cannot hear me, I may be talking some slow today. If you cannot hear me, please let me know, okay? Am I audible?
Yes, Divya, we will let
Yes,
you know.
ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So yesterday we were discussing something, but the meeting got ended suddenly as the time is done. Uh, so yeah, don't worry about the course content, okay? I won't skip any concepts and I will cover all the concepts in the same way only. I won't hurry up also. Okay, and yeah, we were discussing about sorry, we were discussing about regular expressions yesterday, right? So actually we are not done it with that concept. We were left over with one more function. Okay, let's finish it off first. So whatever we discussed till, I mean, discussed in yesterday's class or whatever we discussed till now in regular expressions, that is, we saw how we will basically search for the pattern, correct? Regular expressions is basically used for patterns matching only for searching. If we want to search data according to some pattern, we will use regular expressions, right? And whatever wildcards we have, we saw yesterday, correct? And guys, I won't say these are all the only wildcards. We may have some more wildcards also, but whatever I discussed in yesterday and day before yesterday's class, those wildcards are the most used things which we will, I mean, which we are mostly used in the real time. Okay, if there are some more else, please explore them also. But this will be enough for you. Okay. In my this many years of experience, I never used any another wildcards. But I know there are some more wildcards, and that will be like continuous process going forward. If if they find anything new, they will add some more wildcards also. Okay. So till yesterday, we learned about how we will search for the patterns by using the wildcards. Along with this, we have one more function in the wildcard. Okay, that is called as, we have something called as regexp replace. Okay, we have one function called as regexp replace. Basically, what we will do whenever we want to replace something from any text, we will use this one. We can call it as function only, but by using regexp we will have something called as regular expression replace. If we are having any sentence or any word, if we want to make some replacement in that sentence, we will use that. Let's see one example. Suppose I have any name here, like maybe I have something called as Capgemini Office. Just imagine like that. Okay. In that, if I want to change something, instead of office, I want to replace the word office with any other word. I will write like this. Okay. We can use single quotes or double quotes, no problem. Any quotes is fine. If we use double quotes also, it will work. Okay. So I'm saying instead of office in this Capgemini Office word, complete word, instead of office, if I want to replace with any another word, maybe campus, something like that. Just try to understand the concept here. If we have something like, if we have any description columns or something like that, if we have any words and if we want to replace any particular word with some new word, we will use regular expression. Okay. Here you can see this is one word. In this, instead of office, I'm just replacing the name as campus. Okay, we need to use three parameters here. First thing, the complete word or the complete sentence. And from that, which word we are going to change and what is the new word we are replacing with. I got the answer as Capgemini campus here. I mean, instead of office, I just replaced with the campus word. Okay, something like that. Did you got my point?
Yes, Divya.
Yeah, this is the one more function I can say with the help of regular expressions. If we want something, if you want to change something in our data, we will use this. Okay. So this is about regular expressions. With this, we are done with this concept. Guys, I hope regular expressions is clear for you, right? Any doubts for you?
No,
Hello.
Yes, Satish. Sorry.
Yesterday, I'm asking one question about not in alternative.
Yes, correct. But I didn't got your question, Satish. Can you please repeat that question?
Alternative for not in regular expression.
Alternative for not I mean, without not in, what we can use some. Are you asking like
Yeah,
that?
we have like in operator, so we using here
Okay. I
right.
got it.
So
So
that's the
basically,
like that.
yes, I got your question now. So basically, instead of in operator, we use some brackets here. Like that, we have some alternatives here. But here, just let me open that example first. Somewhere I wrote. Here, movies names not ending with vowels, right? Here I'm giving condition that my movie name should not end with vowels, but we don't have any, particular pattern for this. As you are thinking, like for now, till now, MySQL didn't introduce any pattern, particular wild card for this, for not ending kind of thing. That's the reason we will use just for regular expression. We will use not operator here. Okay. Going forward, if they introduce, they might. Actually, what it happens, there is an official website called as mysqldeveloper.com. You can find all the wildcards there. Previously, there used to be only 4 wildcards. Going forward, they are introducing, year by year, they are adding some wildcards. For now, till now, they didn't added any such wildcards. So whenever we are writing any queries, like without or not kind of thing, we will use not operator only. Here our condition is names not ending with vowels, right? So we will use basically not operator only. We don't have any other wildcards. Okay. Is it okay, Satish?
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah. All right. So this is about regular expressions, especially if you are planning to, if you're planning to start your career or go towards data analyst or data engineers, please practice this. This will be very useful for that domain, especially in SQL. We don't use that frequently. We'll use, but it's not that frequent. In the especially data analyst or data science field, we will use patterns a lot to search the data. There we will use regular expressions a lot. Okay. So if you have any doubts also, you can ask me some other day also, no problem. If you, I mean, after practicing also in between, if you get any doubts, you can ask me. And now let's start any new concept today. In between also, if my voice went low, please let me know, okay? So better let's try to start the concept of denormalizations today. Let's try to understand today because we don't have classes on Saturday and Sunday, right? Tomorrow is of course festival. In Monday's class, we will start freshly maybe subqueries. We will start subqueries freshly. For now, let's see what is denormalization. Okay. So basically denormalization in the sense, if we store all the data, let me write it here. If we store all the related data, okay, if we store all the related data in one single table. Maybe I will use okay, if we store all the related data in one single table, we can call it as denormalized data. Okay. If you remember in the starting, whenever I'm discussing about the limitations of Excel, I show you some data, correct? Let me open that Excel file first. This is the one, right? This is the one which we saw whenever we are discussing about limitations of Excel. That is maybe first or second class, correct? I said if I'm selling any product, if I store the data like this in Excel file, what are all the limitations we have? We discussed in that class, correct? So denormalization is nothing but if we store all the related data in one single table, and of course it is in SQL. Here previously we discussed if we store the data like this in the Excel file, what are all the limitations? But now I'm saying if I store this kind of data in SQL, if I store this kind of, all the data, all the related data in one single table in the SQL, that is called as denormalization. Okay, that the way of storing that this kind of data is called as denormalized data. Am I clear? If we store the data like this, suppose let's take the same example. Suppose I'm selling some products in online and I started storing my data like this. I have this many columns which we saw previously: order ID, order date, customer ID, like so on. I have order details here, customer details, product details, and supplier details. Guys, is that okay? Is my voice okay?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am,
Yes,
but I
yes,
haven't
Divya.
understood.
Ma'am, here I have one question.
Yes, Pritesh.
Yeah, like ma'am, in this we splitted the table like with we have removed the repetitive
Correct.
data. So de denormalization will include that also, like splitting of the table.
No, that's what I will tell you. Please wait, okay?
Okay.
If we previously what we did, we if I on that day I said that if I store this kind of data in the Excel file, we will have some limitations, and we discussed some of the limitations here. And at that time I said to overcome these limitations, like maybe mainly about data redundancy, data integrity, right? That means our data is repeating again and again. We, instead of storing the data like this, we divided the data. We divided the data into multiple tables, correct? We created customer details table separately, product details table separately, supply details table separately, like that we did, correct? We divided the data like this separately, correct? I said this is the way which we will store in the SQL. We will divide the data and we will store multiple tables in SQL, and we should make sure that we should have at least one common column between the tables so that we can relate the data, right? Here in base table, that's the reason we used all the IDs here, like product ID, customer ID, and we make sure the IDs should be common, like in customer details table, customer ID, base table, customer ID, so that we can perform joins. Till now we saw like that only. Whenever on the Maven movies also, you can see multiple tables, and in every tables we have some common columns, and based on that common columns, we are just joining the tables, correct? That is the actually the the correct way of storing the data. If we store data in the multiple tables, we will call that concept called as normalization. Now I'm explaining what is denormalization. In the sense, if we store, instead of dividing the data into smaller parts, where is that? If I store the complete data like this, okay, if I store the complete data, whatever you can see here, if I store something like this in the Excel file, the way of storing this data is called as denormalized data. Again, we have the same issues there. That's the reason we stopped using denormalized data and we started using normalized data. That is dividing the data into multiple tables. The same concept. Okay, let's see it, but let's see technically about it. As here, what happened, as in the start initial stages, as I wanted to say you the limitations of Excel, I explained this at that time, but forget about it now. Just try to understand. I'm just speaking about the SQL only. Initially, we have basically two terms, normalization and denormalization. What is denormalization? In the sense, if you store the data the same like this of related data in one large table, that way of storing the data is called as denormalization, as I wrote here. If you store all the related data in one single table, it is called as denormalized data. That means in the same way. Okay, so if we store the data like this, we have some anomalies. Let's try to talk everything very technically about the SQL only. Forget about what we discussed on that day. Okay. Again, it is almost the same. Here also, I'm saying in SQL also previously, first, if we store the data like this in the denormalized form, what are all the problems we will face, and is there any advantages of storing the data like this? Let's discuss. And we have something called as normal forms. What are all that normal forms also we will see. And as we have some, you know, what we can say, anomalies or problems if we store the data in this kind of denormalized form. That's the reason we created a concept called as normalization. So what is normalization, what are all the normal faults, we will discuss. Okay, let's see. So as I said, if we store the all the data, all the related data in one single table just like this, that is called as denormalized data. Okay, now as I said, if we store the data like this, we will have some anomalies, right? Anomalies is nothing but problems, I can say, or challenges, I can say. What are all the disadvantages here? If I store the data like this in the denormalization form, just you saw the example just now. If I store let's take the same example. If I'm selling any products like that, and if I store the same data like that in the Excel file, what all the disadvantages or what all the problems I will face? Disadvantages. First, as we know, the data will be repeating, correct? At that
Ma'am,
time also
what
we
is
saw.
the real-time usage of denormalization?
Yeah, I will say once again. Firstly, nowadays we are not using this. Previously, before normalization came into existence, we had denormalization. Then only, we are talking about history, I can say. If the period previously we used to store like that, what are all the disadvantages we have? And we have one more advantage in denormalization. What is that? So, but though
Ma'am,
we have.
normalization means joins, huh?
Exactly. Normalization means way of storing the data into multiple tables like
Different,
this.
different level.
Different tables. Like in Maven movies we saw, we have many multiple tables, right? Normalization is nothing but if we here denormalization is if we store all the related data in one single table, that is called as denormalized data. Normalized data in the sense, if we store all the tables in if we store the complete data in multiple tables, and we should make sure there should be one common column between each of that table so that we can relate with them. Basically, by using joins, we can just join them and we can display them, right? let's say, let me go with the flow, then you can, you won't get any doubts. Okay. So I'm saying we have the disadvantages in denormalization. The disadvantages is again on that day, whatever I discussed. If I just store the data like this, here my data is repeating, right? Like home traders is repeating, AM traders is repeating, Samsung is repeating. Data repetition is there. That is called as data redundancy, which we saw. In Excel file also, we will have the same problem. Of course, if we save the same way in the SQL also, we will have the same problem only. Because in SQL also, as we are saving like this, we need to write in the same way. We need to write the same supplier name many times. We need to write the same manufacturer name. I mean, we need to enter the same data multiple times, right? That is called as data redundancy, which we already saw, correct? So data redundancy is one of the disadvantage, and memory wastage, okay, performance issue. These are all the disadvantages, almost the same limitations which we already discussed in the Excel file. Data redundancy in the sense the data will be repeated. If the data is repeating all the time, that is called as data redundancy. If the data is repeating again and again, which leads to again memory wastage kind of thing, correct? If the memory is wasting, if we are, if we are storing the data again and again, it will leads to some performance issues. We will come across some performance issues. Maybe loading the data will take a lot of time, right? So these are all the problems if we store the data in the form of denormalized form. That is in like this. Okay. So here, actually what the concept is, if I store the data like this, I'm just giving you the exactly disadvantages. So if I talk more technically, if I store the data in the denormalized form, we have something called as anomalies here. Okay, we have a term called as anomalies. Anomalies means something like problems, like that. What are all the problems we are facing if we store the data in the denormalized form? Let's discuss. We have three kinds. I am already using this, right? One of using that one. So
I
anomalies.
have one question, Divya. Sorry to
Yes,
interrupt.
yes,
Okay.
please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
You said denormalization is just storing all the column data in a single table, right? Okay.
Correct. Correct.
Then why does data redundancy will come?
Data
Because we
redundancy
are
is,
storing all together data.
yeah,
Mm,
because this is the way we are storing the data. Data redundancy in the sense repeated. Data is repeating all the time. I'm storing the same data every time. Here you can see in the manufacturer name, I wrote Samsung many times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 5 times, I'm repeating the same data. OnePlus also, I'm repeating again and again. I have only 2 suppliers, but on each and every row, I'm keep on writing all the things. Instead of this, if we store the data in the normalized form, we saw in whenever we are discussing about Excel file, we saw if we divide the data like this, what I did, I created one separate table for customer details, product details, and supplier details. In supplier details, you can see we have only 2 suppliers. That is S1 and S2, and S1 supplier name is this one, manufacturer name is this one. Here I'm not repeating the data. I used only 2 rows here.
okay, yes, understood.
Okay, if we
Yeah.
store the data separately in that particular data, we won't repeat the data. Okay, whereas if in the first way, see how many times I repeated the data. That repetition of the data is called as data redundancy. Okay,
Okay,
did
understood.
you got my point? So
Yes.
to avoid this data redundancy, that means to avoid the repetition of the data. Here I have only 9 records. What if Amazon is trying to save their data in this form on daily basis? How many products he will sell? Like maybe smartphones or microphones, he will sell thousands of products maybe worldwide on daily basis. at least hundreds of products. He can't keep, he can't keep on adding every product name again and again. Every product he cannot add, the supplier names and product names. Maybe imagine that he's selling iPhone daily basis. He might sell 200 or 300 iPhones. If we store the data like this in 200 rows or 300 rows, he need to save that supplier details, product name, iPhone like that. He need to store, and the price of the iPhones, if suppose I'm talking about any of the product, that product price will be the same in all the columns. He need to use the price also like that. That is the very wrong way of storing the big data. Correct? Data will be repeated again and again, and it's really impossible to store thousands of data like this. Correct? Instead of that, we saw we just divided the data like this. As we are facing some issues with the denormalization data only, normalization came into existence. We divided the data into multiple tables. We make sure that there should be some common column between them so that we can relate and we can understand the data. Like if I store the data like this, I can relate, and as we saw on that day, we understood according to the order ID. Here order ID is 2, customer ID is 2. By seeing this table, I can go to customer details table and I understand whatever order ID is 2, that order ID's customer name is Anthony. Right? Like that, we will relate. If I want to know what is the supplier ID or what is the product, basically, what is the product order ID 2 is, what is the product name of the order ID 2, in the sense what we will do, we will see product ID P2 here, product ID P2 here, smartphone. That is what we are doing with joins, right? Basically, in the Maven movies data also, we have multiple tables, we have some common column. We are just joining the tables and we are understanding according to the requirements. We are just displaying the data. The way of storing the data like this is called normalized data. Okay. So basically,
Yes, Divya.
previously we have a concept called as denormalization. If we store the data, all the related data in one single table, we face some issues. That issues we can call technically as the term as anomalies. We have 3 anomalies here. If we store data in denormalized form, we have 3 anomalies. Okay. So the first one is insertion anomaly. Second one is deletion anomaly. And the third one is updation anomaly. Okay. We have some 3 types of anomalies if we store the data in the denormalized form. That is insertion anomaly, deletion anomaly, updation anomaly. What is this anomalies? We will see now detailing. Okay, these are all basically the problems which we are facing if we store the data like this in the denormalized form. What is this problems? We will see each one of them by using some examples. After that, as we are facing such problems, we introduced a concept called as normalization. Okay, did you got my point? Guys, am I clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, great. Now let's see
No,
what
ma'am, I'm
is.
not able to understand anything.
Oh, really? Okay, let me repeat. See,
It is the
Ma'am,
scary
if it
part,
is
man.
deprecated, then why you are using it?
sorry.
If it is deprecated, if why we are using it, why you are studying it?
As this is one of the concept, this is theory part only. We don't use denormalizations in real time, but we should
Okay,
know the concept. That is the reason. There,
okay,
I mean, there won't be any syntaxes. We know we don't use denormalization, but anyhow, if we read some, I mean, in any subject, there will be some history, and we need to understand that, right? For that
okay,
reason,
okay.
I'm explaining that.
Okay.
Okay.
Please explain this 1 to 3 point insertion anomaly account.
Sorry.
Please explain these 3 points now: insertion, anomaly,
Yeah, that's
delete.
what. Next time, in what is insertion, what is deletion? I mean, what is this anomalous? Let's see with some examples, then you can understand. Okay. Is that clear, whatever I said, or do you want me to repeat the same points again?
No, clear now.
Okay. As I'm saying, we have problems. We are, don't think like we are using this denormalization now and there are some syntaxes now. No, we are not using this. This is a history. We are just learning how normalization concept came into existence. Okay. So for that, we need to understand what is denormalized data and what are the problems we faced because of that. Then only, for that reason only, SQL people created normalization concept. And what is a normalization? What are all the normal forms? We will see later. Okay. Now, for now, we have, as I said, we have three anomalies. That is insertion anomaly, deletion anomaly, and updation anomaly. What is that? Now we will see. Suppose the first we have insertion anomaly. Suppose if I store the data like this. So I'm saying if I store the data like this is called as denormalized form, correct? So if we are saving the data, if we are storing the data like this in the Excel file, we are facing three anomalies, that is insertion, deletion, and updation anomalies. Okay, what is insertion anomalies in the sense? Suppose here you can see I have product ID column. When product ID column when product ID column will be generated whenever I sell any product, then only I can say I will get some order ID, correct? Let me repeat. When basically what is the product ID? If I sold any product, okay. See if this is Amazon, if I sell any product, for that product, whatever I sold, for that only I will get some order ID and order date. On which date the customer ordered, that will be the order date. And whenever they done one transaction, whenever they done one order, they basically requested for order, or whenever the order is created, at that time only I will get some order ID. Correct? This point clear?
Yes, yes.
So now what's happening if I store the same data like this? I'm storing all the data in one table, one single table only. But I can have my order ID if my product got sold. Suppose here, if you can observe, I have, so just imagine we have only one supplier here. Okay, let's talk about only one supplier. Let's talk about something like home traders. I have only one supplier in my company. That supplier is selling different products, maybe smart TV, smartphone, microphone, charger, like this. Okay, so if suppose this supplier wanted to sell another product, he wanted to introduce any another product, just tell me any another product, maybe AC. Okay, this supplier, till now he sold this many products in my website. Now he said that he wanted to introduce one, or he wanted to sell ACs also from now. Okay, at that time I need to show to the customers that we are selling ACs also, correct? So where can I store that AC data? If I need to store like this in here, that AC, if I need to say that the product ID which we are selling is AC, and we have some, if I show some price randomly, I should have definitely order ID if I save the data like this, because order ID will be the primary column here. Suppose I'm creating the table, complete one large table in SQL, and I created primary key for order ID. I cannot keep this column null. Primary keys, no null values will be allowed, right? But when I will, suppose if I should have order ID, in the sense at what particular time I will have order ID will be generated. Once I sold this product, only order ID will get generated, right? Before selling, I cannot generate a order ID for AC. But I wanted to show the people that you know, I'm going to sell AC also. So where I should, where I should show this I added some new product into my website. Where I should store? Definitely inside the product details only, correct? Whatever we are storing here in the form of tables, that one will reflect in the front end part also. If I'm talking about Amazon, if we can able to see the Amazon or any other e-commerce websites, if we can able to see the products in our mobile phone, that means they are storing that data inside the database, like this tables, like this in the sense normalized form of tables which we saw, right? Not denormalized data but normalized data. Basically we need to store the data in the database only. At that in that case only, in the front end in the website or applications, we can able to see that product names and prices, correct? So without selling this AC, if I store the data like this, I'm getting I'm getting the insertion anomalies. I'm unable to insert my this new product details here. I'm thinking of introducing one new product. I just wanted to introduce my new product in my website, but I'm unable to insert the new product details because I don't have order ID. If I store the data like this, it won't happen only, correct? Did you got my point?
Yes, ma'am, got it.
Everyone?
Product listing is not possible, like
Exactly. If I
order
store the
ID is
data,
not possible actually.
order
Before
ID is
product
not
is not
possible. If I
possible.
store the data like this, I cannot generate order ID until and unless I sell one AC. At least one AC I sell only. I will get some order ID. Without selling any one AC, I cannot get the order ID because this will be primary column. We will define a primary column in this order ID column, right? Without at least without getting one order, I cannot generate order ID. But to get orders, people should know that I am selling AC, right? Then how, without knowing, how can they, place an order for me? Correct?
And Divya, instead of creating a order ID as a primary key, we can create product ID as a primary key in this case, right? Because AC will have one product ID that is a primary key only, right?
So see, if that is so, here this will be the one big table, correct? We will definitely we have one rule in SQL that for at least, I mean, we need to create primary key for only one single table. Okay,
Yes.
as you said, we will create a product ID for, I mean, I will create a product ID as primary key. Okay, not order ID. If that is so, okay, this will be possible. I can add AC here. Yes, Shushovan. Sorry, Munesh, just a second, okay? Yes, Shushovan, I already cancelled Tableau class today. Uh, I think you got mail from admin people. You didn't check, I guess.
No, no, ma'am, I haven't received any mail. I'll check.
Yeah. Anyways, I was about to tell at the end. I already cancelled that class. I'm not feeling well. For Syed, I mean, I said to the admin people that to send the mails for you. There is no class. I'm just trying to complete this. Just at least at least I said I will take one class and I'm taking now. But it's
No,
really hard for me as well. That no Tableau class today. Okay,
no
we will
issues,
meet
no
on
issues.
Monday on for Tableau class.
Yeah, no issues.
Yeah, thank you. And this one also, I'm not sure, but maybe I may take leave on Wednesday. I have some personal work. I'm going out of station. I mean, I won't take any batches on Wednesday. I guess it's not it confirmed, but 95% there won't be class on Wednesday also. That's the reason I'm taking the class today. Okay. If it is confirmed, I will let you know before only. But guys, please don't worry if I don't take Wednesday class also. You know, we can finish the all the concepts slowly. Okay. Is that okay, everyone?
Yes, Divya.
I
Yeah.
am no issues.
Yeah. I will tell on Tuesday itself. The program is not yet fixed, but I may go out station. I don't know. I will inform before only, okay? I'm not sure about the Wednesday class. 99% there won't be class on that day. That's the reason I'm taking this class today. Okay, so yeah, let's continue with the concept. So I'm saying, as Munish said, this is a valid point. I just imagine that I created primary key on product ID. This is also we can do. But again, as we have as we have the rule that we need to create only one primary key in any one table. Suppose I created a primary key on product ID. At that time, I cannot create primary key on order ID, customer ID, supplier ID. Correct? Let's see the same concept, the same problem with any other data. Here, as Munesh said, I created a primary key for product ID. Okay. So if that is so, I can enter AC details. I will enter the price. As this is, as this will be primary key, maybe I will enter the product, a new product P10 here. As this is not the primary key, maybe it can be null. Let's suppose for that. Let's imagine like that. Okay. Now, here I am saying I have only two supplier IDs. Suppose I got one more supplier for me because I am basically I am maintaining a e-commerce website, something like Amazon. I have multiple suppliers. For now, I have only two suppliers. That is well and good. One new supplier came and one new product he wanted. At that time, how to add the supplier details, supplier details here? Maybe that supplier also he will use the same product, and to show the uniquely, to show that supplier ID uniquely, I cannot enter the details there, right? Did you got my point? In some way, some or the other way, we will face issues because all of the IDs definitely in if we are using normalized data, what we are doing, we are dividing the data, and for all of the IDs, we are giving some unique. I mean, we are defining all of the IDs as primary keys, right? For order ID, customer ID, product ID, supplier ID, right? If we store like this, we can only maintain one column as a any column in one column as a primary key, but to enter any another new data, this primary key column, whatever we are using as an whatever column we are using as a primary key column, that will definitely affect some other data. That anomaly is called as insertion anomaly. I cannot insert some new data, some kind of new data I cannot insert if I can store the data like this. Primary key will create me problem. Okay, am I clear?
Okay, okay, Divya.
So this is called as insertion anomaly. Next we have deletion anomaly. Okay, deletion anomaly in the sense what is delete command? Yes.
Anyhow, it is not so important in the real time. No, just
Yeah,
for
we won't use. Just we are talking about history only.
yes. Okay.
So, but again, see, I can even skip this concept, but if anyone asks you what is denormalization, what is normalization, we should have idea, right? That's the reason I'm explaining this. This is completely theory part. You can even ignore it. Okay, just for understanding purpose, I'm explaining. No one is going to ask what is anomaly and what are all the anomalies. Just for knowledge purpose, I'm explaining. Okay. Next, we have deletion anomaly. Anomaly in the sense, what is basically delete command? What is delete command? If we want to delete any particular row, we will use delete command, right? By using delete command, we will delete any rows of the data, correct? So if we store the data like this, we have a deletion anomaly. Okay, deletion anomaly is nothing but if you observe this data in product names. Okay, let me remove this. Here again, I have some suppliers here. I have some product names here. I have one supplier called as AM Traders. Okay, this 3 or 4. He sold some products here. If you observe, only one product, only one order ID I have with the product name Charger. Okay, AM Traders is one of the supplier. He is selling some products. He sold one of the charger. Okay, and one of my customer bought that and I got the order ID 9. This is my customer details. This is the product name. This is the price and this is the supplier name. I got the order so that after getting order only, I placed this data here. Suppose, imagine like that. After that, my customer, he canceled that product. After order ID generating, he just placed the product, but for some reasons, maybe he canceled that product. At that time, I need to delete this complete row, correct? Because my order ID got cancelled. No need of storing the order ID, order date, customer ID, customer name, customer address. I don't need that data. I will delete this data, correct? So in that time, if I delete this data, this data is of no use up to address ID, order date, customer name, customer address is of no use. But if you can see here, product name charger, I don't have in any other row. I have only one, this charger data in this row because only one product got sold. If I delete this, if I delete this entire row, and if you see the product names in my website, you cannot even you even know that we are selling chargers also. There is no charger details. There won't be any charger details if I delete this row, correct? If we have data like this, if I have two rows in another row also, if somewhere like smartphone here I have charger, that is okay. If I delete this row also, still people can see that I am selling charger also, right? Something like that. Did you got my point? If I just have any product name in any one row and if I had to delete that row, the complete product details will be erased from my database or from my website, correct? That is called as deletion anomaly. That is, I am facing some problems whenever I am deleting the data. If my data is only unique row, if I delete that data, my complete details is missing here in my website. That anomaly is called as deletion anomaly. I hope you understand. Guys, is
Yes,
it
ma'am.
boring? Okay, all right. Next, updation anomaly, same like this. Of course, let's finish it off quickly. Updation anomaly in the sense, if I am updating any data, just a very simple example I can tell. Suppose, uh, suppose I'm updating any of my data here. I have smartphone here. Just imagine, let's talk about real time. In Amazon, if he want to update in any of the product, just imagine maybe iPhone. Amazon thought to increase the price of one of any product. Suppose for the iPhone, he thought to increase the price. For now, the price is 85,000. Imagine he thought to change the price or update that price to the 90,000. From 85,000, he's changing to 90,000. Just example, take one example. If he store the data like this, how many iPhones he will have? If he has hundreds of iPhones, for each and every row, whatever update he is making, every row the data will be updated, correct? Just like suppose I have 1,000 rows of data, suppose Amazon has 1,000 rows of data and 1,000 rows of iPhone's data. Okay, because on daily basis he will sell the same products many times. Suppose he's selling any product and that for that product he has some 1,000 rows and he wanted to update the price of that product. Whenever he make update on that price for all the 1,000 rows, that update, whatever updation has happened, for all the 1,000 rows, the data should be updated. This will leads to again the wastage of memory and it's not like wastage of memory. This will leads to the performance issue. Once 1,000 rows updating, in the sense it will affect the server. It will affect the server. We will get some performance issues, right? This is one of the issue. That issue is called as updation issue. If we are storing the data like this, if we want to update anything, it will lead to the performance issues. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
So these are the three anomalies: insertion, deletion, and updation anomalies. I can say three problems if we store the data like this. That is the denormalized data. Okay. For that reason, to overcome this problem, these three anomalies, we introduced a concept called as, SQL introduced a concept called as normalization. Normalization is nothing but if we divide the data into smaller chunks. If the data is divided into smaller chunks, if the data is divided into smaller chunks, so that we can handle data easily. If the data is divided into smaller chunks of pieces, so that we can handle the data easily. In the sense, the smaller chunks is in the sense nothing but if we divide the one large table into smaller different tables. If we divide one big table into smaller different tables, and if we are making sure that there should be some common column between them so that we can relate that tables, if we store the data like that, that data is called as normalized data, or the concept is called as normalization. Am I clear?
Till yesterday, ma'am, what we did is normalization.
Correct. From day one, like
Yeah.
almost from day one, we worked on normalizations only. In SQL, we will work on normalizations only, normalized data only. Previously, before normalizations came into existence, there is denormalized data. They used to, in the SQL also, they used to save the data like this only. Like this only. They used to save the data like this only. One large table. At that time, they faced this many issues. All these issues. That's the reason immediately this denormalized concept came into existence, and they are one by one everything is created. First primary key, foreign key, joins, everything came into existence. And now not only nowadays, from almost from many years, we are using only normalized data. Okay.
When it was
And
when it
sorry,
was a normalization, Divya, do you have
when
any idea? I mean, date?
no, I don't remember for now.
Okay.
There is some year, but for now I don't remember. Sorry for that.
Okay.
And one more thing, if I really talk about if we have any advantage in storing this data, in the sense, only one advantage is that accessing the data is easy. Here I say accessibility of the data is one of the limitation in Excel. If we store the data like this, in Excel file, accessibility of the data is again an issue. But if we store the data, same data like this in the SQL, accessibility of the data is easy because no need of using joins concept only here, correct? If I want to extract any data by using simple select statement, I can extract any of that data because all of my data will be stored in one single place. No need of using joins, no need of using unions, correct?
Yes.
So yeah, if we have any advantage, this is the only advantage, accessibility of the data. Let me write it here. Here in the denormalization. We have only one advantage. Accessing the data is easy basically. No joins concept is used, right? No need of joins only. I can say like that. No need of joins only. Right? No need of joins, unions, subqueries, no need of using any of these complex concepts if you store the data like this. But again, though we have that advantage, we have this many disadvantages. It is really impossible to save all this data in one, in one table. If we store, it is impossible to store the big data in one large table. We will have many disadvantages, the basic disadvantages. Without this, it won't make sense only, right? That is the reason normalization came into existence, and we will dealing with the normalized data only. Okay. So is it clear whatever I discussed till now? Next, we need to discuss about normal forms and ER diagrams. Let's see that in the next class.
Divya, I have one question regarding regular expression. Okay. The
Yeah.
last statement was that replace cap, Gemini, office, you replaced with the
Yeah.
word
Yeah.
campus. Why can't we do with the update statement itself? Because completely regular expressions you told it deals with patterns.
Yeah, it deals
Okay.
with pattern only, but along with the pattern, we have one function in regular expressions which is used to, change
Okay.
the things. If you are talking about update command, if we want to change the complete column data, we will use update. But this is not the one in one column. I have two
It
words. I want to
two
change only
words.
one
Okay.
word, not the complete word. Something like
Okay.
if in Maven movies we have description, right? Yesterday we saw
Mm,
we have one long line over there,
mm,
long
mm, mm,
sentence over there. In that
mm.
sentence, particularly if I want to change any word, I realized that I wrote a paragraph of description. In that description I did one mistake. At least only one word is mistake. To do that, I
Okay.
won't change the complete data. I will use
Mm,
regular expression replace, and I will just replace that particular word.
okay. Okay, Divya.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Understood.
guys.
Mm.
I guess up to here, just don't think much about denormalizations. We won't use this in real time. In interview questions, also no one will ask you. Just for knowledge purpose, I said you. Okay, what is normalization? Definitely, you need to know the definition. Again, no one will ask, but you need to just remember that difference. Basically, what is the basic difference between normalization and denormalization? Try to understand that. That will be more than enough. Okay. Next, we have ER diagrams. What is that? We will discuss in the next class. If everything is clear, I'll end the session for now. And we don't have classes on Saturday and Sunday. Let's meet on Monday class. And Shushaman, Tableau also, we don't have class now. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Telegram group will be active for how many months, Divya? Just for this course completion or
Course
for 6 months?
completion, frankly, course completion. Now also, I don't, I really don't want to be in that because of the continuous ads.
Okay. Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm, mm.
Till
And
the
the
once the batch is done, I will left. I don't know about others, but I will left the group.
and
Yeah.
one more thing is the recordings will be for 6 months, course
Right.
completion date, right? After the course completion date, right?
No, from the day one.
From the
On which day you get registered with DurgaSoft, from that day,
okay.
you will get the
Oh,
access for 6 months.
okay, understood. Thank you.
Okay.
Mm.
All right, guys. Let's meet tomorrow. I mean, on Monday. Okay.
Okay, Divya, thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.